Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and today I want to show you how I made this Bohemian journal cover that I'm working on. I'm making a Bohemian journal. So, and I'm using the kit or various kits from Betsy of Museful Creations, and I'll have a link in the description for the kits that you can find in her Ko-Fi shop. So basically, this cover is made from recycled Amazon packaging with some mixed media on there, and I'll show you step by step how I did it. But this is what it looks like so far, and I had printed out the lady once on cardstock and once on some vellum, and I'll show you the process in a little bit. And here's one of the little clusters that I had made in my last video. And so basically it's going to open like this. I haven't decided on what type of binding I want to use yet. So this is what we have so far. This is the cover. This is an actual pocket because I actually turned it into a pocket, and I'll show you in the video how I turned it into a real pocket, because it was just it was ephemera, but it wasn't like an actual envelope. So, and I'll show you how I did that. And here's one of the little things that I made on that last video. And this here is a pocket as well. So, but basically what I did was I just got some papers and from her digital, and I added it. Some of them I added to some cardstock or coffee dyed papers and things like that. And I'm going to be adding some more envelopes and other things and stuff to fill in. But these are what some of the pages look like so far. And this is how it's going to get assembled. So let me just go ahead and show you how I made the covers and these right in here. Okay, so here are the papers that I have, and like I said, some of them are double-sided, and I added them to, I printed them out, and then some of them I added different types of papers to them and stitched around the edges. And these are going to be the pages that I'm going to use on the inside of the journal. Okay, so now I wanted to see what size they were so I could know what size to make my journal cover. So here I am just basically just measuring it out and seeing what size I need to cut for the covers. And I'm going to be using some Amazon packaging. So after I measured it, I'm just cutting it down to size, and it's going to be, I think it's like 8 3/4 by 8 3/4 on each side. But with the Amazon packaging was still stuck together, and so I just went on ahead and cut it into the size that I needed for the front and the back. And then I'm going to be peeling it apart in just a little bit. But I just wanted to go ahead and cut it down to the right size while they were still stuck together. And so here I'm just peeling it apart. And I took some of the stickers off of there, like the labels, the barcode labels and stuff like that. I took some of those off before gluing them together. But here I'm just separating the layers of the Amazon packaging. And then, like I said, I took those white Amazon barcode labels off before getting ready to glue it on. And then I'm just taking some paste and I'm pasting the two together just to kind of make it a little bit thicker. Then I'm just going to take some sky blue and foliage paints that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to paint each side, one side blue, and then the other side I'm going to paint green. And these are just acrylic paints. You can just use what you have in your stash. And then here, I wanted to make like a circle to go on the front of the cover, because my original idea started out a little bit different, and you'll see here in a little bit. But yeah, I just took some craft cardstock and I glued that piece of printed out paper on there, and then I traced around a bowl so I could get a circle that was big enough to my liking for the front cover. So here I am just cutting the two, one's for the front, one's for the back. I'm deciding, do I want blue or do I want to use the green? So I decided on the green, and so I'm just going to take one of the digitals, and I'm just cutting out the mandala to use it to garnish part of the front cover. And then I'm just one of the other pieces of ephemera that I had fussy cut out, it was an envelope, and I wanted to make it into a real envelope, but right there it was just in the shape. It was shaped like an envelope, but it wasn't an actual one, but I wanted to turn it into one. So I'm just going to first distress around the edges, and then I'm going to be gluing it to a piece of paper, and that way it'll create a pocket, and it'll turn into a real envelope, and you'll see here in just a moment. So I decided to take some of that same designer paper, and just I'm leaving that bottom part open, and then I'm just going to glue the top part on so it stays, and then we'll have us a little envelope. I'm just cutting around the edges, and then I'm going to be stitching around the edges in a little bit. And then I decided I wanted to take some alcohol ink, sepia, and I went around the edges of the journal covers as well as that circle right there. So here I have the two images of the lady printed out on, one of them's on 110 pound cardstock, and the other one was the vellum. And I stitched them together, and then I just cut her image out. And I kept some of the remnants because I'm going to be using it on the front cover. And I was originally, like I said, going to use that round circle on the front, but I decided I didn't want to, that the picture looked better to me, so I went with the photo of the lady. And then I'm just taking those remnants, and I'm just kind of decorating the top and the bottom of the cover, the front cover. And then here I'm stitching around the edges of the cover. And I took one of those little ephemera pieces, and I'm adding it to the front of her, one of those little clusters I made in the first video. And then after adding that to her, I'm going to add her onto the front cover. I'm just going to glue her down using some Elmer's glue, and you can use any kind of glue, art glitter glue. You can use some maybe some Ranger paste, or not paste, but gel medium, or whatever you want to use. So, and then I'm wanting to add some shadows, so I took that vintage photo distress crayon, and I'm just going around the images of her, and then I'm also going to go around the mandalas as well, just to give it that shadow. I love to grunge stuff up. I can't help myself.
It has a bit of like a blueberry taste to it.
And so now I'm adding on some of these little die cut white flowers. I just wanted to give it that balance of contrasting colors of different things on the page. Yeah. And then here I'm just adding on some of that Distress Oxide spray. And I used the Vintage Photo Hickory Smoke, and I can't think of the name of the other one. I'll have a link in the, I'll have it in the description. So now I'm doing the inside of the cover, of the front cover. And here's where I'm going to use the little circle at. I'm just going to turn it into a little pocket. And then I'm just going to garnish it with that little envelope over there to the side in a little bit. as well as one of those little mandalas that I used the glossy accents on in that last video. I was going to use that one at first, but I like the shinier one better. So yeah. Get my little Elmer's glue. That Elmer's glue works pretty well too, better than what I had expected it to. It just takes a little bit longer to dry compared to like art glitter glue and stuff like that. And here's where I decided on the title. I was going to call it Bohemian Florals, but I just decided just to call it Bohemian because it is my Bohemian Junk Journal. So I took the typing from the kit that was printed out, and then I'm just going to use it on the title of the cover, the journal cover. So and then here I am just distressing it, and I'm going to be gluing it to that grayish color cardstock. Everything has to be distressed. That's just, I'm crazy like that. And so that's gonna be pretty much it right there for the cover. Well, no, yeah, here I am adding on the one of the words on the envelope, and then that envelope onto the pocket or tuck spot or whatever you want to call that circular thing. So, and oh yeah, and I garnished it with a butterfly as well. So now this is going to complete the cover so far. And so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos, blog, and social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.